So I think it's no secret that the EU traditionally has taken a more regulation-forward approach, whereas the US is known for being stronger on the side of innovation. That said, I think underlying that philosophical approach, there are reasons why the two jurisdictions will want to converge anyway, be it merely at the level of economic competitiveness. The EU and the US are both important markets. Companies in those jurisdictions will want to operate across jurisdictions. So regardless of the regulatory framework, and I mean, I want to say, like, at a state level, in any case, there are efforts in the US to adopt similar concepts to the EU AI Act, just not in a similar way. I think ultimately we will see some sort of convergence, be it at the level of standards that at least companies will strive for, to have some sort of certainty and interoperability.
Yeah, and I think what people are sometimes disregarding when talking about that question is, it always sounds speed, what the US is doing is so much better for development and product development. But, building AI products myself, I actually think sometimes people overlook the importance of being a little bit slower, thinking about governance first. And after you've thought about it in a way that you actually know this product is going to work, then you start to build it, which by the end of the day means you're not only doing pilots anymore, but you're actually building something which 100% works in production. So I think people will win on the one hand by speed, but also by thinking through what regulation should be in the product. And the people that win by the end of the day will do both at the same time, which is the European and the American approach.
And I think in the medium term, companies that were able from the beginning to meet the high European standards in terms of governance, transparency, accountability will be very successful in the US as well, because they will essentially be able to demonstrate trust in the market that they have reliable, functioning products and according to those standards.
Couldn't agree more. For me, most decisions should be owned by private companies, but the discussion from the Pentagon with Anthropic was around when a human life can be taken, and I don't think a private company should have that right to decide over that.
I think that generally speaking, in liberal democratic societies, governments and courts should set the rules around how technologies are developed and deployed. That said, in the AI space, and it's not unique to AI, but particularly prevalent in AI, technologies might evolve faster than regulations can keep up. So I think in those cases, necessarily the private sector will have to also inform policymakers as to the kinds of challenges they face in terms of AI development and implementation, the kind of open questions they have, and essentially participate in those conversations constructively. And then I think there's an additional challenge when certain governments, even that fall into the category of liberal democracies, might themselves, at least on a rhetorical level, suggest that they might not live according to their own rules. So here I think the private sector also has a responsibility to take a step back and look at the higher level values that they want to aspire to and abide by, and essentially also then help steer that development again back into the realm of the kinds of constitutional traditions that we've all benefited from and that we want to continue furthering across the Atlantic.